Alright everybody, this is going to be the next video on mitosis, and specifically looking at sexual versus asexual reproduction. Let's get started on this next video. So what is sexual reproduction? Well, sexual reproduction is going to involve the fusion of two separate parent cells. So when we're talking about organisms, we have male and then we have female organisms. And these organisms, when they sexually reproduce, are going to take two cells and two sets of gametes, and they're going to combine them into one cell. And then that fertilized cell is going to turn into a genetically different offspring from the both parents. So it's a combination of both of the parents' genetic material that have come from the sperm and the egg cells of the male and the female organisms here. So sexual reproduction is going to involve the fusion of two cells. Now, asexual reproduction is going to produce genetically identical offspring from a single parent. Let's take a journey down into the ocean. Let's look at some sea sponges here, some porifera. Now, porifera, which is going to be this sea sponge here, are going to reproduce via budding. So what they can do is go through mitotic divisions and create smaller organisms that will eventually grow into similar size of the porifera, and they're going to bud off smaller and smaller organisms. SpongeBob, we're going to take a look at a clip of SpongeBob in a second here, does this process.
Can you reproduce by budding? Can ya?
So after looking at this clip, what we can see is via budding, porifera are going to produce genetically identical offspring. And Hydra do this as well. And budding is going to have differences, evolutionary advantages and evolutionary disadvantages compared to asexual reproduction. And when we begin to talk about evolution, we'll delve into this a little bit. But what we need to know for right now is asexual reproduction is mitotic divisions that involve a single parent and produce genetically identical offspring. So if we're comparing the two of these, well, we're going to have asexual versus sexual reproduction. Now let's go through a Venn diagram so that way we can better understand this. So let's go through and look at asexual reproduction. We'll go through and do this one in orange. So during asexual reproduction, this is only going to involve one parent. So involves one parent. Now, if we continue on here, gametes are not produced. And gametes are going to be sexual cells, cells that are used to create new offsprings when we talk about sexual reproductions. So gametes are not produced. When we're talking about those gametes, we're talking about sperm and egg cells with sexual reproduction. Now, the offspring are going to be identical. So offspring are identical. I'll go through and put in some bullet points here so we can better see this. So 1, 2, 3. Offspring are identical. And then cell divisions are only going to be mitotic. So cell divisions are only mitotic. So we have, it's going to involve one parent. Gametes are not produced, so there are no sexual cells. Offspring are identical, and cell divisions are only mitotic. Now, if we look at sexual reproduction, we'll do this one in yellow. Well, sexual reproduction is going to involve two parents. So it's going to involve two parents in order to produce that offspring. There are gametes involved. So gametes, sexual cells, are going to be produced. So gametes are produced. And then if we're looking at this, the offspring is going to be genetically different or genetically variable. So offspring is genetically, C-A-L-L-Y, variable. And then if we compare this to only mitotic division, sexual reproduction is going to involve both mitotic and meiotic divisions. So mitotic plus meiotic, M-E-I-O-T-I-C, mitotic and meiotic divisions. I'll just put a little div for divisions here. So it's going to involve two parents. Gametes are going to be produced via mitosis or mitotic divisions, and the offsprings are genetically variable. Asexual reproduction only involves mitotic divisions. Sexual reproduction involves mitotic and meiotic divisions. Now, if we're comparing both of them together, well, they're both going to produce offspring, and they're going to do it a little bit differently. So offspring, forgot my R there, offspring are both produced. They are also going to both involve DNA or genetic material. So involve genetic material. And then both are going to have evolutionary advantages. So evolutionary advantages. So both have evolutionary advantages that will be a little bit different, but they're going to be used differently dependent upon the environment.